Good morning. Good morning from Santa Rosa, and hello to you in Albuquerque, Canada, all the different places that we are joining from. Today is the 10th of February, so we have been traveling together in spiritual practice for quite some time, a month and 10 days, using Science of Mind 365. The Year of Daily Wisdom from Ernest Holmes. Today's devotional is titled, I Dwell in the Household of God. I dwell. I love the word dwell. Rest. I dwell in the household or the house of Spirit. That's where I belong. And then Dr. Holmes uses 1 Corinthians 3, I believe. The text is too small for me in the dark. Anyway, the quote is, Know ye not that ye are the temple, the house. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. So if you are from the Christian tradition, you might be familiar with this particular letter from Paul to the early church. And if you're not, let me tell you that it is quite a familiar situation that Paul was addressing in spiritual communities. Whether you're Jewish or Buddhist or Christian or this or that or a family or a school, you probably have encountered that moment where the politics of being human displace the spiritual practice or the vision that founded the project in the first place. And that's what Paul is addressing. And so he writes, and so you can adapt this. It's in a Christian context, but just read it for your own personal experience, hear it. Sisters and brothers, he writes to them, I couldn't talk to you, I couldn't address you as people who are living by the Spirit, but I had to talk to you as people who were still worldly, merely infants in your Christianity. So I had to give you milk instead of solid food because you weren't ready. And indeed, you're still not ready. Why? You're worldly because there's jealousy and quarreling among you. That makes you worldly. You're acting out. One of you says, I follow Paul. The other one says, I follow Apollos. And on it goes. And after all, who is Paul and who is Apollos? They're just servants through whom you came to your belief. And each one has been assigned their special task in spirit. So I planted the seed, that's Paul speaking, and Apollos watered it. But it is God that is making it grow. So neither Paul or Apollos is anything, but it is God who is everything. So the one who plants and the one who waters, they have their purpose, sure, but we are co-workers in service to God. And you, he's speaking to the community now, you are God's field. You are God's temple. You are God's building. So, and Paul goes on to say, by the grace of God, I was given the talent to lay a foundation, to be wise in my building, and then somebody else has been building a foundation on it. But all of us have to proceed with care. And he goes on to say, I want to skip to the part here. he talks about the building of it, and then he says this part 16. Don't you know, he says to the people, that you yourselves are God's temple and not that physical building that is being built. This is so important. And don't you know, he's talking to the people, that God's Spirit lives in you. And you don't go about destroying the temple, because you will be destroyed in the process. So don't deceive yourself, he says. You think you're wise and smart about the politics of who runs the place, who owns the building. You will be being foolish. So you see the application there? It's a letter to bring people back to what is real. You know, I can see that even in our member communities, how it's very easy to become political in our internal relationships, or to love the building more than the Spirit. So what a lovely introduction this morning. We are being invited to remember the reason, the vision in our own lives, why we are here. Oh, I just love that so much. Now, Dr. Holmes he must have been excited when he wrote this. It's almost stream of consciousness, free form. It says, the household of God is a household of perfection. It is the secret place of the Most High. The inhabitants of this household are all divine beings. Neither can enter the consciousness of any of these Nothing can enter the consciousness of any of these inhabitants that contradicts the unity of good. Each and every member of this household is at peace with all other members. There is a community of peace, of understanding, of fellowship, and of love and unity. So he is talking in a kind of prophetic, visionary way, describing the ideal, the big, wonderful, amazing vision that may not be attainable right now, but is necessary to imagine. So hear it like that. He is imagining the peaceable kingdom of Isaiah in a way. He's imagining the global vision. In the household of God, which is any person's household who declares it to be such, there is no bickering, no jealousy, and no avenue through which any littleness or meanness may operate. It is not only a household of peace, but also a household of joy. It is a place of happiness and general contentment. Here is warmth, color, and beauty. This earthly household symbolizes the divine harmony of the kingdom of spirit. No one is a stranger within this household. Nothing is alien to it. It is protected from all fear, from every sense of loss. Nothing can enter it but joy, integrity, and friendship. The same good, I realize, belongs to everyone else. So there's the invitation for us today. It is not being Pollyanna. It's not about denying any strife that might be going on in your personal household or in your community or in your work. It's about taking time daily to imagine. Just to imagine, just like Dr. Ernest Holmes did. To the best of my ability, your ability today, how do I imagine a world that works for everyone? It's inner work, it's private work. I don't have to tell anybody. I've got nobody to hold accountable except myself. But I'm going to keep on lighting that flame in me to see how it guides me. So let us take a moment then to enter into the consciousness of prayer, to salute, pay honor to that presence from which we draw our lives, that which is everywhere present in all things and the reason for all things, the mind of creation. That mind is my mind right now. It is the only thing going on. And through this affirmative prayer, I am aligning myself consciously with that which I already am, an expression of the living Spirit. And I affirm this, or remember it, for all people listening on this call and beyond. And in the awareness of this unity with Spirit, then I declare for myself that I remember today that which causes me to be. Everything I bring into being, into expression today, whatever I do and whatever I build or make, I remember that it is made through the power of that creative mind, and that I'm merely a channel through which it produces its demonstration. Whatever good I express, whatever love I feel, whatever beauty I see today, I realize it is the living Spirit seeing, doing, and feeling through me, and I honor that. And so I remember today that I am a place where the living Spirit expresses and shows up. And I do not desire a good for myself that is greater than the good I desire for all people. At the same time, neither do I deny myself the good I affirm for all people. In this household, the host is God, the living Spirit Almighty. And all are invited, and all who dwell in this household are guests of the eternal host. I dwell here in peace, in love, and in joy. Celebrating this, letting myself feel the warmth of happy, glad acceptance, I release this word into the action of the law, and so it is. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for the kind messages. Thank you in particular for sharing this broadcast and for inviting your friends to be with us. And thank you for being aware today that you are a place where the living Spirit shows up and that you dwell in its presence.